Good evening, and welcome back as we jump back into our Eden campaign. Just a quick recap, maybe a little bit less than quick, as it has been a minute. Welcome back, Dune. How's it going? We missed you.
Going.
So, last we left off, and what you would have missed, Dune. Last you were here, we were still in Worthy, and the group was going about their business, waiting for Lady Esther Thalia to address the public in Worthy, essentially to make her intentions known as far as playing the political game to maybe get her, or at least her family, into a position to be the next leaders of Worthy, as you had ousted the previous governors. So in that bit of downtime, the group spent some time wandering around, managed upon a little privately owned collection of books, scrolls, and other readable material. You found some pretty interesting stuff, and as well as Durant had read bits of a book detailing the origins and relationship between Bahamut and Tiamat. As the day moved on and turned to afternoon and evening, Estatilia addressed Worthy, essentially informed the populace that the Sanvaniques had succumbed to the same plague that many others had, and that, at least in the interim, she would be stepping up and stepping in to ensure the safety of the city, and in doing so, she employed a number of individuals to enforce that safety until an official Imperial Guard force could be established. You all would have noticed these individuals as the ones who had been giving Sparrow a bit of trouble. Now, predictably, and rightfully so, Elevorn was a bit taken aback and confused by this decision, to which essentially the answer was that you keep troublemakers, people like that, close, give them a way to make a living, and maybe they can do some good, and if they decide not to, then they are close enough and under watch enough that they can be taken care of. That ideal seemed to resonate and satisfy Elevord. And after you had said your goodbyes to the temple, to Esther, Baljan, Demetrius, and as a whole Worthy, you set off, heading northward towards the Kragsaw Mountains, and beyond it to Thuinban, the small town set at the southern edge of the Varieties Desert, where your next target, person of interest, is said to reside, at least according to the intel you had gained from a certain Mr. Lavelle? Dene Lavelle, yes.
Are you gonna mix up names?
No, that was the right name. Alright. Neri Durand, just calm down. So as you traveled on and got closer and closer. The Kragsaw Mountains, the large mountain range that spans over half the width of the continent. Mountains growing larger on the horizon until you find yourselves walking between two of these large mountains that make up part of the range. The starts at the base beginning to slope upward, but quickly and sort of exponentially going to sheer cliffs and converging on one another until you reach a section that begins to be about maybe 30 feet apart, flanked on either side of this sort of rocky, craggy pass by these two constructed stone pillars that marks the beginning of what you would learn is the Kragsaw Pass. Walking in, you find that it's sort of a little hovel. There are street vendors, and it seems like there are even certain people that make a life or a living here. It all seems a little bit sketchy, and as far as you can see, there's no imperial presence here, so whoever may or may not be in charge is still up in the air. However, walking through as the large sort of sheer cliffs on either side cast shadows, blocking the rather quickly warming up late spring to early summer heat that is setting in, especially as you get closer to the more arid regions of the Empire. The heat from steam, smoke, and cooking food that lines these walls in certain stalls and basically street food vendors kind of makes the air a bit hot and heavy and not quite as easy to breathe, but you guys are fairly well conditioned, so it's not that much of a pain. However, you are approached by a merchant, a curious merchant, as they are leading a camel with them, a creature that you had seen once before, and it turns out that this is the second time that you have encountered the older woman that you had met in Vasselholm during the festivities, the one that had sold Bask his mace, Netherdy on her gloves. This time, however, she's peddling quite different wares. As you took a look into the carriage drawn by the camel, you saw a variety of different critters for sale. Desert snakes, small scorpions, spiders, a variety of desert lizards, a small eagle, even. However, the ones that had caught your eyes were initially a strange creature that curled itself into a ball, a rather hefty-sized armadillo, one that was just more curious than anything. Duen herself, drawn quite fondly to a mewling, seemingly blinded kitten-like creature, except on its back, furled in close, were two thin and light wings, a Tressum kitten, a small sort of lion-eagle hybrid, a definitely young, explained that it was a griffin cub, and a new traveling companion for Elevorn, at least, in the form of a maybe 2 inch at most long head to tail pygmy shrew, who, after some conversation with Elevorn noted was very rearing for adventure and specifically in search for his name, whatever that may be. Not sure if Elevorn is experiencing buyer's remorse at this time, but that's up to her. So you guys are still there. Netherdy having purchased the Tressum kitten for 750 gold. Elevorn having purchased this pygmy shrew for a few gold. and it seems like business is maybe wrapping up, but that's up to you. As we jump back in, take it away. Anytime. The older woman looks to Durand after satisfied with making a sale to both of the ladies of the group. She goes, "Are you certain, young man, that I can't interest you in one of these fine exotic creatures?"
No, I'm quite alright.
Are you sure you're alright? Because,
Indeed, are you sure? Your friends here got some new friends? You look maybe sure have one of your own. I'm sure a big, strong man like yourself could raise one of these to be quite the sturdy companion.
Oh, I think I have quite a handful at home as it is.
I have nothing at home except, okay, for you know who, but she's not a pet.
I'm not calling them pets, but there are the you know.
You know.
what? What is it?
He totally thinks they're pets. Just rude.
No, I wouldn't ever. But they are a responsibility in and of itself.
Well, they do know how to act on their own and everything, so well, never mind.
Oh,
I didn't even think of that. Now I'm just imagining Varlock riding a griffin. It's glorious.
So Elevorn, while they're discussing stuff that Elevorn isn't sure what they're talking about, she's going to approach the lady and be like, is the griffin awake? I mean, could I hold it?
Of course you can. And she goes and she scoops up the griffin cub, which is about the size of a large puppy. See the front part being that of an eagle feathered with the paws and talons, which are, even for its size, growing in rather sharply. In the back, just a smooth, kind of silky furred, very light, dusty brown shade of fur. The back half of a lion type cub. She hands it to you as you take the griffin into your hands. It weighs a good amount, maybe around 8 to 10 pounds, perhaps.
I'm going to turn around and show the arm and be like, isn't it so cute?
See the eyes kind of as it was previously taking a nap, but after being jostled and stirred a bit, the eyes on the front of the eagle head kind of blink themselves open as the beak opens into a sort of mewling, chirp, yawn type noise.
Elevorn's heart is about to burst out of her chest. Just trying to contain the squeak noises.
Yeah, I suppose it is gives me a bit of well, partly anyways. The rules.
Are you gonna pet it?
Pet it.
If she's holding up to me, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As you kind of go to pet it, it kind of takes a little nip at you. You can see it now, the beak kind of closing in around your forefinger, not enough to hurt or even do damage, just you feel a little bit of the pressure.
It's called a love bite.
Aw, it likes you.
Or probably needs a moment to take a liking.
Make an animal handling check, Duran. You're good at these.
A 10.
10. Okay. So after a few more sort of nipping bites at your finger, eventually you kind of pull back and hold the back of your hand against the feathered head of the eagle part of this creature and begin to stroke it as it allows you to, and you can hear a sort of light trilling kind of staccato vibration coming from its throat.
Isn't it soft?
Yeah. I suppose.
I suppose?
Duran's heart is cold as ice.
It's almost as soft as my little baby Tressum here.
I'm trying to, like, vision if... I guess I'm just trying to... I don't think Duran would have ever had a pet. Time.
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't think so. It wouldn't make any sense.
You guys are talking about pets, but this little guy wouldn't be a pet. Or girl. I'm not sure. Either way.
It would be a companion,
Mm-hmm.
a trusty partner.
Perhaps even the valuable asset. Eleanor nods as she's looking up at the road.
Doesn't it look a bit small for that, maybe?
Oh, it is just a baby. You didn't know it's just a baby?
Oh, what do I know about things?
Make a nature check?
Could Neri wander off while Elvorn and Durand are doing whatever they're doing?
Sure, where are you wandering off to?
I think I would look like for somebody who's selling some silver ingots or silver sheet, you know, like, I don't, however you want to describe.
Sure, I'm not sure if you may not even be here, but you know, it's possible, so.
Yeah, but I mean, Neri would be looking for somebody who is selling.
What's that nature check?
Also a 10.
Also a 10? You're not too familiar with this variety of creature, but thankfully the other woman who had provided Nerdian with her tressum and Elavoin with her pygmy shrew piece up. Yeah, the young lady is correct. Those griffins do grow to become quite a formidable size. In fact, the adult ones are known to hunt creatures such as horses, camels in the desert, even.
How tall is the camel compared to Durand?
I'll say that Duran might have, an inch or two on it, maybe. Maybe.
Just to give something to,
It's a
compare.
very large animal.
Well, if you think. How much for it?
As they are quite rare creatures, especially one such as this. Not every day one gets the chance to raise a griffin from being a cub. Not quite as rare as the. She looks around and didn't even notice Nelarion slinking away. Not quite as rare as the Cherasium that I sold your friend there, but still quite valuable. That one I had intended to sell for 500 gold pieces.
Did I hear how much Neri bought her?
Yeah, 750.
Jesus.
And she didn't even try to haggle. She's just like, take my money.
Yeah, honestly, take my money.
Okay, so I know it's a lot of money, so maybe you just get my share of money now. Whenever we get money again. Yes.
I'll just look at Elavorn, try to read
She's holding
face.
the griffin, and they both have like just a big kitty eye.
Happy eyes.
Well, alright.
Really?
Really? I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. I should hit the minus on this one by one.
499, 498, 497. All right, so go ahead and mark off 500 gold pieces. You've just made this old merchant lady over 1,200 gold richer today.
She's rich as heck.
Well, very satisfied, very happy, but also at the same time a little bit antsy. Like, all right, well, if that's it, then I should really be on my way. Kind of shifty-eyed, maybe trying to spot if anybody else was watching these transactions around here. Seems like she wants to get on her way sooner rather than later. If your business is concluded.
Oh, what does she eat right now?
That one, even at a young age, that one I would, well, let's just say, before I got here, I had like a handful more lizards than I do now. They are carnivorous. Little bits of meat, not too tough at a younger age.
Okay.
Not Steve is hiding.
Not Steve.
Alright. Neladian, go ahead and make an investigation check. Also, are you asking around or are you just looking? If you
I
ask
guess
around, it would be...
I'm looking.
Okay.
I'm just
Asking
looking.
around,
But,
it
I
might be
mean,
easier, you know. I'm just saying. The DC is higher if you're not asking.
you,
Just saying.
you're just saying. You're just wanting me to ask. You're just wanting Neri to talk to people, and it's not okay.
It makes sense. These people, the people around here probably know. So if you're just doing it on your own, it would be probably harder than asking the locals.
I mean, it kind of could be. I don't. Okay. You know what? Fine, I'll ask.
Okay, go to make an investigation check.
What the fuck is this wrong? $14?
Can you roll that low?
Yes, because I rolled 3 for some fucking reason plus 11, so that's 14.
You don't have that thing where you're proficient stuff yet? Can't be less than a 10?
And,
Or is that
no,
next level for
I
rogue?
think that's next level or something, but no, at the moment, no. It's 14. I mean, it's not too bad, but you know.
Bad, but it's not great, obviously, especially for you.
Yeah.
You are way too like you look for a while, you begin to ask people, but then your new Tressum kid will do something just that's so adorable and cute that you just totally lose track of what you're doing, and you end up spending like a minute to 2 at a time just coddling your new Tressum kitten, wondering what's your name gonna be, and all that good stuff. But eventually, you ask somebody in passing if they know where they could find something. And at this point, like the road, as it's only about 30 feet across, and both of the edges are kind of lined with these makeshift tents and stalls. It's quite crowded to get through. And so as you're asking somebody, they kind of just grunt an ignoring response and continue on.
Douchebags.
Yeah, pretty much is your thought and whisper as you hear an old gravelly voice from behind you. You're looking for some valuables, huh? Some shiny material? It's like, just, and then another voice kind of pipes up as you turn to see 2 dwarves, one older with a long gray and black gnarly beard. Patches of it are missing. Sitting across, they're both sitting on these rocks, and there's a stone with a board on top of it. They're playing some sort of board game that it looks like it's a variation of some sort of like maybe mix of like Chinese checkers type thing, but with stones and various shapes of things. It looks dwarven in make. The game, you're not too familiar with it. But sitting across is a younger dwarven woman who's just ignore him. Just can you quit trying to draw people into your little schemes, Elvig? The guy just overheard. I'm trying to help passerby, can't I? And you can see as he's looking out, he's not looking directly at him, and you can see that the eyes look fairly glazed over and kind of shot with white.
I'll kind of like slightly, at least slightly turn towards them. And the depends on the valuables, yes?
Okay. So all the while they're in a position where people are still walking in front and like kind of behind you, and you're getting sort of kind of jostled occasionally as they pass by. People like drawing carts by. It's like a very narrow thoroughway.
I guess I'll like get closer to them.
All right. And as you do, the younger dwarven female just kind of rolls her eyes and sits back as the older dwarf hears your approach. Well, depends on what kind of valuables you're interested in. Well, actually, no. You see, I'm talking gems. Large, valuable gems. And she goes, not this again.
I'll look at her when she says that, like kind of like whatever the look is that you give. Like, what do you mean?
She pipes up. It's like, he does this all the time. He leads people into dangerous areas and search for these treasures, these gems, materials, metals, rare things in the ravine. There's a reason we have a bridge, old man. It's so that people don't have to go down there. It's dangerous. Hey, it is. I know that very much, but not going to get anywhere if you avoid danger. Especially not... Oh, I've been so close so many times. See, and he kind of pulls up and like listens, and you can kind of... You're not sure if he can see you, but there's some like analysis there, and you can see that he has judged that you're still present somehow, however he determines that. Took a band of some brave, bold, strong types down into the ravine about a month or so ago. Found some very rare, valuable gems. 2 of them. But we lost them. It's like, how do you even know what you found? You can't see your own nose in front of your face. These hands can see more than your eyes even can when it comes to gems and the like, lass. Trust me, I felt them. I held them in my hands. Large as a fist, maybe larger.
Well, how did you lose them? Did somebody stole them from you? Because if you already had them, then
I had them, but I wasn't the one holding them. I held them as we found them, but afterwards they were handed off to another in the group. Someone. Granted, I have, pardon the pun, I suppose, but I have the vision, the sense for the stone, if you will. But as far as actual going to protecting and defending them, I'm not too much in that way skilled. So handing them off to another, and well. Anyways, before I continue, so Duran, Elevor, you catching up to Netadion if you can after you purchase the griffin? Just ask.
Yes.
Alright. So then it would be at around this point in the conversation that you would kind of spot and begin to make your way through the crowd towards Netadion as she's speaking with this old black and gray bearded dwarf. At the point the kind of conversation and noise of the crowd is too much for you to make out any conversation, but you're on your way and you spot it and you guys are approaching. It was not a person. It didn't sound like a person. And not too many people make their way into the ravine, you see. It is, as my friend here pointed out, quite a dangerous endeavor. And then, Netadion, you can kind of notice the presence of Elevorn and Durand around you as the dwarf continues to speak, and he kind of like perks up and notices, especially Durand's approach, as he is fairly loud, clangy,
Glug, glug.
clank, clank, clank. It was a beast, nay, a monster. What took them? Must have a den, a cave of some sort, a lair, some territory down in the ravine. My ears did not deceive me. There's a reason why these gems have not been recovered as of yet. It's a reason why, of all the travelers that have passed, none have taken me up on this despite the riches that await. And the female dwarf goes, and here we go again. Because what lies below these streets, below in the ravine, somewhere in the crevasse, there lies a dragon. It was a dragon that took me gems.
Dragon.
I know what I've heard. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I promise there's no mistaking the cry of a dragon. Have you heard a dragon before? Well, before this one. No, but how can you mistake it? When you hear it, you know. How? I know what I've heard. So here's what I propose to you. I can give you the whereabouts where the others in my last band were taken. I assume that its lair is around there somewhere. I say there are 2 gems. 2 large, valuable gems. I felt them. I held them in my hands. You can return them. I'll let you take your pick. And whatever else you find in there, yours to keep. I just want one of them.
I guess I'll turn to Elevorn at that point, because
Not
She
sure
mentioned-
how much you believe the whole dragon thing.
yeah, probably not too much, because I mean, okay, it wasn't a real dragon that we faced, but it was a dragon anyways. But I'll turn to Elevorn and I'll also kind of wave at Durand at the same time a little bit, but I'll still focus on Elevorn more. How much did you hear of that?
I heard dragons. Well, let's go find the dragon.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, dragons. But did you hear about the gems too? How much did you hear about the gems?
Oh, thought they were big. But there's a dragon. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe we'd have to fight the dragon if we found the dragon, though. So maybe.
But
Dragon.
yes, dragon and big gems apparently. You know, for that thing that you kind of suggested.
All right, that too.
Maybe. I mean, they could work. Possibly. Depends on. I'll turn back to the dwarf. Could you possibly roughly describe the size of the gems?
It was obviously they had not been cut down to the fine point, but in their raw form. He holds up a meaty fist of his dwarven stature. It was difficult for me to grasp them in my hand. I'd assume perhaps about give or take maybe the size of a small halfling's head, perhaps. Oh my god, how is that any way to describe something? Shut up, I'm talking. So maybe about this
I'll look at Elevorn again. That could be a decent size for that thing, you know?
Wow, that would. I mean, probably too big.
Well, I mean, would have to, I have to shape it quite a lot, so it's good to have it, bigger than attended to.
And then you get smaller gems as well from the excess.
Time to use those diamonds. Dran, would you be willing to face a possible dragon?
Well, dragons are no joke. Dragon or no dragon, I didn't mention.
Oh, well. This just could be, too good of an opportunity, I guess. I don't know. 2 large gems that we could choose from, and maybe, possibly, hopefully, even more other kinds of loot, magical things, more money.
You can see the dwarf that you're talking to, a smile, a wide, toothy smile at hearing the contemplation grow from beneath the thick mustache and beard. You can see he's missing a fair amount of teeth.
Money, Durand. Money.
This is very enticing, but also very suspicious. I suppose though, if it does warrant some looking at those.
So, down we shall go. Neridian is kind of excited a little bit, I guess.
But what about your baby animals? What are they gonna do?
If the Trasim could be in the hood, it'll be fine. Question mark.
Maybe. How
Hopefully.
evil am I as a DM, though? That's
Yeah.
something you have to ask yourself.
We all know
They're
that you
goners.
can be really evil.
It was just a money sink.
You spent a lot of
reliable
gold.
money sink in all of D&D. Present your party with adorable creatures.
True. Dran, you just spent a whole lot of money. And I spent a whole lot of money.
I didn't ask you to
And
spend a whole lot of money.
I know neither of us, well, Eleanor asked you, kinda, but still, we both spent a whole lot of money, and I'm sure you would possibly, most likely, want that money back, and this could be kind of a way to get it back.
Yes, sure. I hate peace and quiet anyways.
Would you rather? I don't know. Then again, those things are most likely far away from Worthy now, and you weren't getting even paid for it. I'll turn back to the dwarf and so okay, which way? Where can we go down?
Aye, so we have a deal then. And he extends a hand to shake.
I'll shake it.
he grasps it firmly and then kind of drags you in closely that you almost stumble, but so that you're in a position that he can slowly, in his sort of still gravelly tone, whisper to you essentially what he said he would tell you. And he tells you about the whereabouts of where the last expedition that he went on with, where things went wrong. He doesn't know exactly where this cavern or this dragon's lair may be in the ravine, but he knows that it is somewhere between 3 and 4 miles upriver, essentially, from the bridge. And he lets you go and get your footing back. As for getting down, there's no real easy way for that. The bridge guard makes pretty sure that the only safe way to traverse the Kragsaw Pass is over their bridge, and as such, by paying their toll. So as far as getting down, I'm sorry, but you're a bit on your own. There are some areas a bit out of the way that might be a bit easier, but gonna need some sort of climbing ability or otherwise creativity.
Is this where the whole catch is? Do you have any climbing gear for sale? I kind of like being a chest.
Unfortunately, no, I have my own stuff, my own way down. When I need to go, unfortunately, I don't have much climbing gear myself. Got a hook and some rope, but nothing too exciting, unfortunately. And also, no catch. I figured if this, then the female door speaks up. He's a crazy old bastard, but he's no scam artist. If he wanted to trick people out of their money, I think he'd come up with a more enticing story than a fucking dragon. Crazy old man.
You might be right about that.
Can we get back to our game now? She says to the older man. Hold on, patience. But there are others here which should probably sell goods that you need. Hooks, rope if you need. Should find plenty of that here in the pass, I would imagine. Many merchants needing to tie up their goods and whatnot. Rope is a very versatile tool.
That it is. Well, I guess we possibly will go find somebody who sells those items or something, and I'll turn to Elevorn and Durand, I guess, and mostly looking at Elevorn because she has all those fancy spells that Neridian isn't aware of.
Right, and I'm hoping that I can have your word to uphold your part of the bargain should you be successful. It is unfortunate that I'm put in a position where I have to trust strangers with this, but it's such as it is.
Yes, of course. You'll have my word.
And with that, he kind of gives a nod and a grunt, and turns back to the game with the younger female dwarf. The rest of you guys take a step or two away and kind of convene and discuss the path forward here.
So, I'm terribly sorry if I kinda roped you guys into it. I mean, I guess it's totally fine if you don't want to do this, but
Oh, I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything I could do. I mean, how wide is the pass? Could we fly down, or
how far are we from it? How could we like walk over to, you know, that where, you know, if we could see possibly, as at least try to estimate how far it is,
As you head towards
how deep
where
it is.
the ravine would be, the amount of merchants and stalls begins to sort of lighten up, and there is a presence of, seems mostly dwarven individuals that you notice are kind of staying towards the shadows and just keeping an eye on things. You get to a point where there's a sort of like a checkpoint, two carved into the mountains themselves, two large dwarven effigies, essentially large statues carved into the rock themselves, flanked on either side, and you can see you're maybe 30, 40 feet away from it, and you can see that there's a dwarven guard as well as an orc standing guard as well. Someone wants, go ahead and make a history check, please. So, if anyone wants to.
I don't know if I want to.
I'll do it.
Oh dear.
That is an 11.
Okay. You're very mediocre today, Duran. Ella1, you can go ahead as well. Or you can give Durand advantage.
I'll do that. Advantage.
Okay, so you guys kind of point out what can begin to kind of mutter and just discuss small talk, as you haven't seen a creature like this before. You've seen creatures like it. Mordan is half-orc, but you've never seen just the full, burly, completely like brownish gray skinned orcish creature. So Duran, go ahead and roll with advantage.
Don't fill the
Still 11.
lines. No, it's 20.
20.
Ooh.
So, after the time that you've spent in the Empire, you have picked up a number of things. You've looked at your fair amount of maps and overheard your fair amount of stories, rumors, and history as far as the Empire goes. And you know that as you continue on this like trek, as you continue on this trajectory northward, you're heading both towards the desert as well as towards an area known as Adazog. And there's a part of Adazog that there's like a sort of a channel that separates Adazog from the Empire. And that channel is a point of great contention between the two civilizations. So you figure it's not unheard of for some of the natives of Adazog that you know to be orcs mainly, and then you've heard tales of a giant civilization as well somewhere in that kingdom, essentially. But yeah, you know that as you get closer to Adazog, there are places where the Empire, the Dwarven Kingdom of Bastilligard, and the Orcs of Adazog are kind of in this constant tension, this constant standoff. So it's interesting that you would see one in the Empire here, but it's also telling of this place that this one is here, and not only is not seen as a problem or threat to the others, but in fact seems to be in some sort of position of power, or at least of the same standing that these other dwarves that seem to run this place are. And you reflect back to the conversation with the old dwarven man, and the name the bridge guard comes to mind, and you're kind of assuming like, okay, this is probably the bridge guard that he talked about, as there are these guards, and beyond them you can see a large bridge, maybe about 120 feet across, and that just disappears into the horizon. You can't even see the end of it from where you are right now. Just the kind of like it disappears into this sort of haze and fog in the distance. So, you're about, like I said, 40 feet or so out from this checkpoint. What are you doing?
It's a checkpoint. I mean, eventually we still have to go to it, I guess. I don't know if...
That's where the direction we have to go to, right?
Yeah. So,
Right, well.
I guess we go to it.
Yeah. Let's cross this bridge that doesn't even look like it has an end.
So, as you walk up, you're not stopped, but you are very closely watched from both sides. One side from the dwarf looking up at you, the other side from the orc looking down at you, who is probably about as tall and wide as you are, Daran. A bit thicker in the torso and arms area, though.
Big boy.
I suppose if they're staring, I'll just kind of like awkwardly nod and just going.
Just a grunt, but not aggressive, just sort of acknowledging, you know. You pass by and you can see that there are it opens up from here, as you can see, like the mountains do come to a kind of a sloping edge, as this, like, it's almost abrupt how the mountains end. It doesn't look like it's like their natural, any sort of like natural end, as if something had carved through them to create this ravine. As you can see, it's probably about 100 feet off the end, and you just kind of just dotted around are crates with numerous dwarves, humans, other races, but predominantly dwarves that are sitting around. All of them seem to be familiar with each other, and you can then see the bridge as well off in the distance, followed by this sheer drop off. You're not sure how far down yet, but it's at the point where you can see the other side of the ravine, but you can't see like the top of it. You see like further down from this distance, the top and like the bridge where it goes through is kind of shrouded in just a kind of fog and mist and atmosphere.
Before we go on to the bridge, can I try to find like a rock or something?
Sure. You can see that there are dwarves that are sitting on two of these pillars. There's one dwarf that has pretty nicely kept and well groomed into a variety like of 3 different braids, and the hair slicked back and pulled into a long braided ponytail as well. A stern look on his face, a multitude of scars across it, and you can see a multitude of scars as well across the biceps and arm area. And he's sitting down there, and you can see leaned up against the pillar that he's currently sitting on as he watches over everything is a pretty large, heavy-looking warhammer.
I'll just try to kind of like ignore him while I'm looking for a rock.
Okay, so there are plenty of rocks available, and you're being watched as you approach. You can see that the people that are on and around the bridge, there's a good amount of these bridge guards that are here, each of them armed, and you can see that even though not everyone in this area is currently holding a weapon, there's a weapon within arm's reach of each of them, from various crossbows, axes, swords, and the like. And all of them seem to be wearing, at the very least, some form of light leather armor. But you find a rock and you walk maybe 40, 50 feet away from the bridge as the dwarf with the braided beard and hair just kind of watches you.
I'll just smile at him, I guess, and when I look at him, then no.
He gives you a slight smirk and a grin, then turns his head. Make a perception check.
Why do you do this to me? Okay, why do you do this to me? That's natural 20.
Natural.
I see
20.
everything
And
again.
you kind of smile and look at him. He gives you a kind of a smirk and then looks back and more in the direction of Elevorn and Drand. And as he does, you notice something from beneath his tunic and leather armor and kind of up his neck. And if not for this uncanny moment of actual perception that you have, it would have been very easy to miss. However, you do see the top half of an unmistakable mark, as it is a mark that you have on your body, as does Braun.
Oh my god, it's the freaking.
You know what that mark means, and you know that even though you know it, you know that it might also not be the smartest or safest to just bring it up as what it, the organization and the lore behind it.
I like kind of softly, but not too softly, because I'm trying to just look at him and like with my eyes, I'm kind of like looking at the arc, and then like a teeny tiny nod, I guess.
No, he stopped looking. The only reason why you were able to see it is because he turned his head and you could see.
Still, like, I guess I'll just like.
Mental note check.
Yeah, mental note check.
All right, so you have the rock.
I have the rock, and I'll walk back to Elvorn and Drond, and I'm not absolutely sure how to measure this or anything, but this has been used for a long as time, but people throw something down into ravines and whatever, and to see how deep they are. So I don't know if either of you can fully measure this or anything, but let's see how long it takes to hear sound if I drop this down here, and I'll throw the rock in there and wait to see.
Okay. So you
Try
guys
to
are
count
all
how
walking
long
to
it
the
takes.
Edge of the river,
Well, I mean,
or the edge of the cliff.
yeah.
Okay, so the three of you walk up. You're still being curiously watched. You can hear and see some people kind of scoff and like mutterings of like tourists. You take the rock. Go ahead and make a dexterity check to see how well you can aim this rock. As from this high up, the river, as the old dwarf explained, like upriver, is little more than just a thin line of blue in the distance below you. You can see the craggy rock wall. It's almost sheer, not quite. There is a bit of a slope to it, but not very much.
Could I, just sort of like rest my hand on her shoulder a little and give her guidance?
Sure you can. So before she chucks it, you do this.
Oh, a D4.
Griffin
19.
pokes its eagle head over the edge, kind of talons resting on the edge of it.
19.
19. Throw the rock. I need someone to make a perception check.
Not me. I think I used all my
I can do it.
perception.
Alright,
Could
so
they give advantage? If we're both looking.
well, you or Elevorn and Duran could look for it, either one.
That
Or
is
just
a
Duran with advantage. Neredion throws it. Elevorn is hyping Neredion up, and Duran's looking. Those are the three rolls.
25.
25. You track this rock, Duran. Even after it falls and arcs into the distance where you can no longer see the rock, you're looking at the area of the river, and you're squinting and you're looking hard at the area where you think based on its trajectory that it would fall and hit. You don't see anything for a while. And the seconds creep by, and you're sure she had to have missed before you see the little bloop, tiny little splash in the distance. Approximately about 20 seconds after Neredion had thrown it.
Only 20 seconds?
Yeah, 20 seconds.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if you guys have the mathematical capability to work out how far that is.
No, just a feel for it. I don't think sit here and start doing mathematical equations. Just pull out the paper and
It's maybe a little more, give or take, about a mile deep.
So, I have a question, because sometimes I don't understand things. So, anyway, does it seem like we could fly down there? Or glide?
I honestly don't know. But, all of... sure, you have provided us all those fancy giant eagles and owls and everything, but flying to me is still kind of an odd concept. Also gliding too, I guess.
Well, it's more a question, like out of character, because I don't get the visual
Oh,
of
you're
it.
asking
Like
if
if
you
I'm
can
looking
fly
at it, does it look like it's possible? Because I've been a flying creature, I've summoned flying creatures, and
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know. I wasn't sure how wide it was.
How wide it was? What? You can't see the other side of the bridge.
Yeah, just double checking. So it's just like, that's enough time to summon some owls to catch us. If we jump.
This cliff dive!
Neri's gonna jump.
Okay.
No, wait, stop.
Go ahead and make an
Oh my god.
athletics. Too late.
Animals.
No.
Contra animals.
Oh, I should.
Okay. Nuri is not gonna jump. It's like.
I mean, I don't have like slow fall, otherwise that would be cool. But you know, it's a druid. We can fly.
However, Elvorn feels like whatever spell she has, whatever she can do at this point.
I mean,
Hand the griffin cub to Durand and turn into the turkey dinosaur. And let's go.
She's just right there.
that works.
I mean, it happened pretty fast.
Okay. So you're a turkey dinosaur now?
I mean, I would ask. I'd be like, well, so you wanted me to fly us down? What do we?
Well, I mean, if hopefully there is something to eventually, at least something where we could land on and everything. I don't. If you want to spend your spells, then
It's a wild or polymorph. You can polymorph into it, can't you?
I could, yeah.
Yeah.
It only lasts an hour, and at that point, maybe it'd be worth it to just summon stuff to carry us.
Well, you could get down there in less than an hour.
yeah, but that's just down, and everything we do. How far we have to go, up or down the river.
I got the turkey.
Turkey dinosaur.
Got it.
Woohoo!
So what's the plan?
What's the plan, Durand?
I mean, go down.
Ah, great plan. Aim for the water.
I guess, yeah. I mean, according to the dwarf down over there, yeah, we have to kind of go down, but you know how we go down—that's the issue. Do we just jump, or
Are you crazy? No, we don't just jump. I mean, you're very lucky and very. I mean, maybe some flips, or I don't think that would help.
I don't think that would help Durand. Definitely, you
Well,
and
for
me,
me,
sure, but I'm not so confident on Durand.
I could always ask Bahamut for Gildy again.
You could ask what?
You just fly. So just fly like a normal person. Oh, why is it so confusing?
Yeah, or also, Elevorn has
Just
buried us
slide
in various different ways.
on the shield.
Yes, she has, but I mean, okay. Elevorn, would you mind either, I don't know, turn into something that turkey dinosaur, whatever it was, or maybe call some animals? I don't know what we need at this moment.
Okay, well, if I conjure some animals, we'll probably have to move quickly. I noticed that everybody has, like, weapons. I don't know if they'll attack us. Probably, though. But, it should be fun, right?
What do you mean they attack us? I mean, we haven't shown any aggression to anybody at the moment, and
So you think I should walk up to one of these guys and be like, "Don't be alarmed. I'm going to like conjure some animals, and you'll just let us go do this."
Okay, I guess it wouldn't be harmful to notify these guards and people that we are conjuring animals and they're not
So you guys
enemy
met here
anybody.
for a bit. This sort of gruff-looking human man walks up to you. You folks have any intention of crossing the bridge today? You just seeing the sights.
Both.
Alright, well, whenever you're done, I suppose, just come on over, we can talk about the toll.
Oh, you Cole?
Yes.
Alright, for crossing the bridge. Yeah, see, we take a lot of pride in keeping her up and sturdy. It takes a lot of maintenance to keep such a magnificent bridge in operation, you see, so yeah, toll is the way in which, we fund our employees here.
That is quite understandable, even if it wasn't this magnificent bridge. I mean, you have to upkeep a bridge.
Hey, not much coming in from the Empire side to keep it up and operational as well, so we take we take what we can, from it's a bad way to put it, but we charge what we must, as it were, from those who utilize our services.
How much was the toll again per person?
Per person? It normally varies from person to person, as some people might be going across with cargo, some might be going across not so much, but it's normally in the ballpark of a few gold.
Well, how much would it be from us? We are just travelers and everything, of course.
Kind of scans you each up and down. Yeah, it shouldn't be more than a handful, perhaps 5 gold a person. What are the faces like?
I'll kind of like look at Elmer and Duran, but then take out my coin purse and hand him 20 gold.
That's in generous types here. Your donation is greatly appreciated. I'll go and tell the boss the 3 of you are good to go.
Thank you.
You see him, keen eyes would see him as he goes over, pocket 2 gold, and take the rest over to the dwarf that you had gotten a glimpse of, Dion.
I'm gonna like smirk at it, I guess. I smirk a little bit.
So, are we going now? Should I conjure some stuff? Was that it?
I mean, what was the point of that even? We're barely even going to use this bridge.
Just go off into the bridge and then go off from the bridge, like out of everyone's eyes.
I mean, to be honest, he is kind of like, right, this bridge needs some upkeep and everything. It wouldn't stand here. It wouldn't last here even if people wouldn't take care of it, and that sometimes takes money, and I don't see why,
yes,
you should
the money of their own people.
What do you mean, their own people?
Yeah, the guys in this town.
Not really a town, but It's like a kind of a shitty little trading post, but
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. Well, I don't. It's my money. Okay.
so as you guys are talking, you did watch, you did hear the sort of clattering of wheels on stone as another, a little group of maybe 3 or 4 merchants with a cart dragged by 2 aurochs begin to make their way across the bridge after stopping to pay the toll to the bridge guard.
Oh, like there has to be some kind of railing or whatever you want to call it on the bridge. So
Yeah, it's
how?
quite large actually. It's like maybe 5.5 feet tall as well. And
But how wide it is?
how wide is the bridge?
How wide is the railing?
Oh, the railing. Say wide enough to stand on, like 4 or 5 feet, maybe.
Okay, I'll climb up on it and start to be like to Elevor, like, I'm ready whenever you are, either to conjure some animals or turn into one, or let's go.
So you're going onto the bridge because I wasn't aware you guys ever even
Yeah,
been on
I'm gonna go on the bridge and like stand on the railing.
How far away? Are you like right there behind the people that are sitting at the edge of it?
Well, arguably, kind of
Like
at this
looking
point.
like, hold on, we got a jumper over here. I'm ready when you are.
Look. We've paid however much we need to do whatever the fuck we want, to be quite honest. If I
What do
jump
you
off
mean
of here,
we
I can
paid?
do it.
Meridian paid.
I will go back and get my money's worth of that and give it right the fuck back to you.
No, you fucking won't.
And then I'll exit the bridge and find my own way down.
You guys are like
Go.
15 feet away from the where the bridge actually meets the ground. So you have quite a few people watching this exchange between Neredion and Durand. One of the one particularly crass gnome looks to Neredion and says, "Do it!"
Okay, conjure animals.
So animals conjured, owls swoop in. Guys mount up onto the owls and just dive off the edge of the bridge into the canyon below. The last thing you can see is just a sort of chortling, deep laugh from the dwarf with the braided beard. Doesn't seem surprised as much as amused.
So there's a lot of jumpers on the bridge. Is it
So heading
surprise?
down, the bridge itself, as you guys are heading down, actually like comes down with you, and you're riding alongside it for a good amount of time before it does end, maybe about 30, 40 feet down, and then you can see these almost like impossibly large stone structural supports that some of them seem like they've been put in place and crafted. Others seem like they've been either somehow carved or maybe even it's hard to imagine it without magic being pulled and utilized from the sheer rock wall itself to also support. And these supports go off hundreds and hundreds of feet past you towards the other edge of towards further out into the bridge, which as you go down, you can see across, and it's a lot wider than it is deep. It's hard to gauge distance, but it's definitely more than 10 miles wide. You guys continue to head down, and as you do, the wind rushes around you. Elevorn, you feel the squirming of your little griffin cub in your arms.
just kind of hold on to him and be like, calm down, it's okay. I've got you.
You got you, but he's kind of clawing his way, almost like he's trying to get out of your arms.
I know he wants to fly, but I can't do that right now.
Maybe you just should hold on to him while it's kind of like stretching its wings and stuff. It kind of like pretends to fly.
So I have like those ribbons on like my arm or whatever, so I'll try to like get one free and then like tie it like a harness around it. Like a not
As you're flying, you wish to tie a harness. Are you comfortable in your mid-flight harness tying skills?
Yeah.
Yeah? Make a dexterity check, please.
Okay. It's a 19 total.
Alright. So, you like double, triple make sure that this harness is, well, you kind of like instruct the eagle that you are flying on to kind of slow and level out so that you can safely do this. And as you have this harness that kind of goes around under the arms, over and around the wings and the midsection of the griffin cub, who wasn't very cooperative in this whole endeavor, but regardless, you succeeded in accomplishing what you expect and hope to be a secure harness for the griffin cub.
It's not like I'm actually just going to use this harness. It's just wrapped around my arm too. So
Yeah.
like as a fail-safe of holding him.
Okay. So what are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna try to let him extend his wings a little.
So you're still holding on to him?
Yeah,
Okay.
from
So
underneath.
Ron and Neredian are both kind of still like descending at a steeper angle than you are right now.
Okay.
So as you're kind of going along, your eagle not gliding down but kind of flapping its wings in a slowly kind of hover descending sort of. What are you doing? You let him extend his wings, he does so. It does so. I'm not sure if it's a boy or girl. The griffin does so.
Yes. I said I'm not sure either.
Names,
Name.
genders.
Whatever. It's fine.
So just kind of hold him out a little bit more, like away from my body, so he can have the sensation that he wants.
Okay. You see the wings extend and unfurl, and you can see the ripple of the air throughout the feathers of back of this creature. You can see that there's no like chance. The wings are too flimsy and weak at this young age to actually even be able to hold its own body weight if it were to attempt to fly. But you can hear the sort of the light yipping, screeching caw of the eagle the eagle part of it as it opens its beak to cry out into the vast distance that is around and beneath it. You watch as the wings just sort of beat erratically and quickly.
I'll just kind of be like, okay, calm down. You're okay. I've got you.
It's a little pinprick on the back of your head, like as a certain pygmy shrew is clinging inside your hair.
Oh, there you are.
Just clinging to your hair, then your scalp.
So I'll probably try to pull the griffin back in so we can continue to descend a little easier. You know,
Okay.
try to like tuck his wings in, and, like
You
pet
just hold
stroke
him
his head.
down and just like, okay, come on, and then you instruct the eagle to descend quicker. The eagle obliges, begins like descent, kind of a glide descent down. It's easy enough for you guys to reach the bottom here. It's a dusty, rocky outcrop with a fairly large river as you come to see. The river itself is maybe 250 feet across. A lot larger than it seemed from the height that you were up there, and even now looking back up, the massive bridge that you had been on is just like a thin stick of like a thin stone stick making its way across in the distance above. The rock walls on one side between you're standing between the river and one of the rock walls that's near impossibly high. You have to completely crane and extend your neck and look straight up to even be able to see the top of it. But it's fairly dry, fairly dusty. There's a little bit of green and vegetation mostly around the banks of the river, but most of the area here is dry, dusty rock.
I guess if it's dusty and everything, at least Neridian will.
Yeah,
Put
it's not like choking you, Dusty. It's just,
It's still quite annoying, I guess. So she'll put up her mask to pluck it out even more.
Sounds good.
So we are down here and the gems.
Mm-hmm.
We should try to find them, I guess.
Well, if the man is to be believed, we'll hear it more likely.
So, the other thing that he said was that the lair or the cave where this dragon supposedly attacked, drug off the dwarf, the other person on the expedition that actually had the gemstones, was about 2 to 3 miles up the river from the bridge.
Well, so far, how does it look like? Is it? Should have we used the conjured animals, or can we like walk along the river upstream?
Well, you can use the conjured animals, but you're also not sure, like, the size or the area where the entrance to this place might be. So if you want to use the conjured animals, it would be harder to spot them as you are moving at a faster pace. You definitely can. It's up to you.
Is there room to walk along the river?
Yeah,
There's
that's
plenty
what I
of room. Like I said, the actual chasm itself is about, I would say about 20 or so, more than 10 miles wide. So there's actually a fair bit. You actually have a few miles between the rock edge and the start of the river itself. You just landed closer to the river.
I mean, I was kind of asking that, but yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of open area, open land. And so when I say like the vegetation is like sort of around the river, there's like a good like 50-foot section before 50 to 100-foot section of green and some bits of vegetation life on the banks of the river before the majority of the area is rock and dirt.
Okay, well, I would vote to walk so that we don't miss it. You know, just in case. I mean, obviously on the birds we could get there faster, but we're not sure where we're going. So
Okay. So what are you doing with the conjured animals?
Well, Eleanor, I'm not fully sure. I mean, it looks like we can walk over here, but of course, I'm not completely sure how far we can walk. Maybe, maybe these birds can still be with us if we need them until they can't be here anymore, or something. I honestly can't remember how your spells work.
yeah, I mean, they could hang
You still
out.
have quite a good amount of time.
I
As
know.
you weren't going straight down at full speed.
Yeah, but
it did take you
Neridian
about-
isn't sure.
so, like,
Just Neridian stuff.
to safely descend down, I would say it took about 8 to 10 minutes to get down because you weren't just going full speed eagle all the way down.
Nose dive.
So you still have the majority of the hour left on your spell, Elevorn.
Okay, well, could they try to fish just on their
They
own?
could. As
You
you
know,
see,
while
the
we're
river
walking.
itself is it's a bit hazy. It's a bit like this light brown in most areas, as the dirt and dust had kind of the sediment kind of made its way into it. That's really just the base of it. As you guys can go up if you're thirsty or whatnot, you can see that the river itself, the water is clear as you take it up, but it's really just the sediment and the dirt on the base that tints the water this light brownish color. Going up to the edge of it, you can see a fair ways into the river. You're not sure quite how deep it is, but you can see a variety of river-dwelling fish, like almost a plethora. As you can imagine, there aren't too many fishermen in this area that fish this river. So as the owls fish, you do notice that a good ways upriver, smaller, but smaller than your giant eagles, but similar birds of prey are similarly hunting in the river as well. You watch as the conglomerate, the schools of fish scatter every time that one of the eagles dives in. Most of them, though, adept hunters come up with fish, although they don't need to eat your conjured animals.
Well, no, I didn't want them to eat them. I wanted them to
Fish.
I need fish.
Find fish.
I need fish.
Okay, so they bring fish back to you after the course of about go ahead and roll a d20 for me, please.
$17.
17. Okay, about 5 minutes later, you have how many eagles can you conjure? Giant eagles?
I want to say 8, but let me check.
Okay.
Also out of character, this music reminds me of the place where you go in Final Fantasy VII, the original 7, when you go find Aerith in the weird place where she gets killed by
Oh
Sephiroth.
no.
Very, very true.
I can't
Certainly not foreshadowing.
Oh no.
Oh
So-
no.
Giant owls are a quarter. So there
Oh, giant owls, so they're not giant eagles.
well, giant eagles there'd only be 2 of them.
Yeah. But we kind of said that you can mix and match.
Yeah, so there'd be
So
2.
one giant, you could have a giant eagle and 4 giant owls.
Yeah, so there'd be 4 of them then.
Okay. So giant owls, I would say slightly, based on challenge rating, of course, is still less adept at hunting than eagles. Also, probably not daytime Fischer hunter things. Not sure if eagles are either, but whatever. So I'll say in the course of about 5 minutes, there are 3 healthy-sized salmon or salmon-like fish there. From the repeated dives and instruction of Elevon to her conjured animals.
Hey, Durand, I got some fish.
Do you want to fish, Duran? You're watching as you guys are around, kind of surveying the area. Elevon is instructing her conjured birds to begin fishing.
Sure. No time like right now then.
Taking the opportunity, you walk a bit of a ways upriver away from where the constant disturbance of the birds is. You pull out a box with the 2 parts of the fishing rod that you had purchased, the very finely crafted wooden fishing rod. Do you have bait? Did you buy bait? Do you still have that tackle box, I guess?
Yeah.
Alright. Who knows how long that lasts? It's probably still good. Go ahead and roll up.
I mean, we're talking about fish in general. Those things kind of eat like almost anything.
Go ahead and make a fisherman's tools check.
Okay.
I would say that fisherman's tools would use wisdom as their modifier. It's a feeling more than anything.
Is that proficiency too?
Do you feel like you've earned proficiency in fisher's tools yet?
Probably not.
I'd say you're getting close.
It is 17.
17. Yeah. Surprisingly, like a lot of times you go out to fish and you're kind of like ready to just cast the line, you bait the line, you put together the fishing, your fishing gear, and that part of it is part of the experience as well that you've come to enjoy. And you cast it out and you look for a couple of rocks or something to wedge the fishing pole into as you wait, as is your standard. But before you're even able to get the fishing pole wedged in, you feel a tug on the line, which is strange. This river seems writhed with a healthy amount of fish. And you go ahead and you reel it in. It's a good-sized salmon, I would say. Nice, like maybe 3-4 pound fish.
Nice.
And so in the course of the 5 minutes, you do catch another one afterwards. The second one does take a bit longer to bite, but even so, only a few minutes. It's still like kind of crazy. It's a good fishing spot, it would seem, this river. Based on like your looks at the map, you're less than 30 miles away from where this river lets out into the ocean. And you know that the extent of this runs hundreds of miles further inland. So you're kind of getting closer to the mouth of the river here. Not quite there, of course. But you do catch 2 fish in those 5 minutes.
The one in my book.
Yeah. Only
At
slightly
least-
outdone by a flock of conjured animals.
Radiant's a little bit confused at why did we stop for fishing, but
You guys haven't eaten in a while either.
true, but I mean, she was confused a little bit, but she let it slide and everything, I
She
guess.
was confused, a little impatient. Come on, guys, jams. Then her tummy rumbles. Like, we might have been able to eat while we were up in the safety, not in Dragon Ravine, but okay.
And shinies.
What's up?
Shinies.
So, Elevon, you have 3 fishies.
Okay, well, can I cook them? Like, build a fire? There's vegetation, right?
Yeah.
So, like, build a small fire to, like, cook them a little bit, or, you know? I
Okay,
don't
so you
know.
go ahead and build a small fire. Elevon, make a perception check, please. Duran, do you bring yours over to be cooked as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the raw. Nom.
Sushi.
So, it's 25?
25. As you're cooking, there's a split second where you notice your griffin cub is not in your line of sight. You quickly find it though, and you can see that it is kind of crouched down beneath, in between some tall reeds and other grass at the edge of the river here. And you can see it's just sort of crouched down and staring in your direction before it jumps out, stumbles over itself a little bit, recovers, pounces with a flutter of wings onto one of the raw fish that is on the ground by your side, and begins to tear at it with its beak.
Okay. So you don't like your food cooked. Okay. I mean, maybe I should try to take it away. I don't know. Scales aren't good, right?
I don't know, but I don't know.
As you're debating this, you can see it's trying to get into it. Beak itself doesn't necessarily even have the strength to pierce through the fish on its own.
Okay.
But it's trying.
So I'll, like, yeah. Nari, could I? Or no, I have a knife in my cook stuff, so
Yeah.
I'll just go and try to cut it open, like cut back the scales, like, like whatever you call that. I don't know the technical term.
Sure.
Basically, take the scales off, descale it.
Descale. Yeah. Sounds.
Or
I think that's it.
maybe.
I guess if we're sort of taking a small break while, cooking at least some of the fish and stuff like that, I'll feed the Tressum.
Okay. Little bits of fish, raw or cooked.
Maybe I'll try a little bit
Well,
of.
actually, are you gonna try the fish, or you do have the bit of milk?
I have the milk and water too, but I'll guess I'll try a little bit of the cooked fish first, and if it doesn't take that, then I'll feed it some milk.
Okay. So, attempting to feed it the cooked fish, it sniffs at it and seems very interested in it, but doesn't do much more than lick it.
I mean, that's fine, and I'll give some milk to it then.
So, Duen, you're sitting here as Nutadyan and Elevorn are feeding their
We're being moms.
are being moms. I feel like Duran should have some sort of speak with animals thing. I think he would bond well with not Steve.
Not Steve.
Yeah.
Not Steve while I'm taking care of the griffin. I'll be like, here, take not Steve. He's very nervous about the griffin.
Not Steve is the
Not
greatest.
Steve is a pygmy shrew, Duran.
Oh,
He's the best.
Do you know
I'm-
what a pygmy shrew is?
I'm unfamiliar.
I think you need to Google it.
I'm pretty sure I said we had a picture.
Yeah, we have a picture on the channel.
Yeah, let me get you a good little image of not Steve as dubbed by Elevorn.
Hey, I didn't name him. He was just like, my name is not Steve. So I was like, so your name is not Steve? And he goes, yes, exactly. So his name is not Steve. It's not he.
He's on an adventure to find his name.
Yes.
Um,
And he said something about Moxie, and I don't know what that is, and I'm not asking.
He liked Elevorn's moxie.
oh.
What?
I see.
Yeah. So along with the Tressum, along with the Griffin, Elevorn also has one of those.
What the hell is...
It's a pygmy shrew. It's so cute.
So she hands it to you, and it fits on like the last digit of your forefinger.
I don't know what to think about this.
Afraid to breathe too hard lest you break its body.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
It kind of stands on its hind. You can hear these very quiet, high-pitched squeaking sounds as it turns in your hand, faces Elevorn, and the griffin turns back to you. Some more squeaks and just kind of does this like sort of constant spinning and squeaking on your finger.
Well, that is cute.
Before it begins to run down your arm, over your body, down your leg as you're sitting, and onto the ground.
Oh, you even keep track of it. It's...
Make a perception check. Not Steve might be lost. It's very small.
Oh, very, very small.
That's not happening in smalls. It's an 8.
An 8.
Oh my.
Oh,
You
my.
lost it.
Oh,
Yeah.
oof.
How do you even roll that low?
Wouldn't it be like a 9?
What?
Like his perception check, I thought he had the same like modifier I do. So even if he rolled a 1, because our thingy is like now plus. Well, I mean, because like we have more proficiency now, so it's +5, not +4. So it's like
Your proficiency bonus should be +5, yeah. Does that?
I rolled the 3.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
But it's my job to not see things, okay?
Hold on, I need to roll a dice here.
How could you do this to me, Doom? How?
Okay. So looking around, this tiny little mammalian creature, it's too small for you to see, and you're kind of like, oh no, and you're looking up at Elevhorn's like, okay, she hasn't noticed yet. Just kind of trying to nonchalant, casually move grass and vegetation aside to like hopefully find it again.
Do I notice what Durand is doing?
With your passive perception and you're taking care of the Tressum,
Probably not.
What do you notice? You
I'm
don't notice
fine.
anything.
So Elevhorn goes through the act of cooking all of the fish that was caught, or however many that she wants to. It will take time. And what are you doing, Durand?
Panic.
Panic.
Sure.
What?
I suppose just passing the time.
Oh, so you just whatever. Who cares about the pygmy shrew? Gotcha.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, I'll look for it.
All right, make a perception check. At this point, it would be so Durand is actively looking for the pygmy shrew. So Elevhorn and Netadion, you would notice as Durand is hands and knees kind of scouring through the vegetation.
What are you doing, Durand? What did you lose?
I just dropped a coin.
I'm just looking for something. It's 15.
15?
What are you looking for? Would you want me to help?
No, it's okay. I think I can find it.
15 roll for this thing.
Do I believe him?
Oh. It takes you a while because you're not exactly sure where it might have gone. But you eventually do find the pygmy shrew a few minutes later, and after you were just kind of stressing about it, in your tackle box, eating some of the worms and insects used for bait for your fishing.
Ooh, all right. Well, that's fine. More of that.
Food is cooked. A meal is had by the three of you. Elevhorn, you can put together whatever you have with. I assume you always have some sort of potato on you, so.
Potatoes!
Please.
So you all eat. Elevhorn, you would have. I say you would have a fish left over for. I don't know where you would keep it, but if you wanted.
In the back of holding.
Not sure if the tackle box is used for fish, but.
A bag of holding, though.
You need some like parchment paper, like dice it up into chunks and preserve it.
Pickled fish.
Are there any like larger plants? Like
What?
with leaves? Are there any like larger, leafy plants or something that I could wrap the fish in? like elephant
I
ears.
make either an investigation or a nature check.
This is bad.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a 3.
Fortunately, nothing large enough to wrap the fish in, no. Not like any large jungle or forest plants here at the bottom of this canyon.
Okay, so,
You guys notice that there are a group of about 14, 15 medium to large, kind of hard to gauge by the distance, sized vultures circling over you.
oh, that's fun. We have new friends.
Friends? What do you mean, friends? What friends are? I guess I'll try to look around. I'm not
Who?
sure if
Where?
I know. Yeah.
Everywhere but where they are.
Just gonna and point upwards.
I'm not even actually sure if Nerugam realized. I mean, how well versed Neridion is with animals in the sense that would she realize that they are vultures and everything?
I mean, you've seen a vulture before, I guess, but you're not sure on their mannerisms, I suppose.
I'm not. Elvor, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's probably bad. Because they tend to eat already dead things.
But the only dead things we have is the fish.
Yeah. Just, leave the bones where they could get them, I guess, out. So maybe they'll just stay here. I hope, as I'm kicking dirt over the fire.
So putting the fire out, gathering up your griffin cub. You guys are putting away your cooked stuff. What are you doing with the extra fish?
It's all about the fish.
What are you guys doing?
Well, I guess I'll leave the extra fish then, too, for the vultures.
Making a mental note to find and acquire some means of preserving food stuff. Meat food stuff, as that's not been something that you've been particularly worried about in your travels. You leave.
This is actually kind of strange that Alvorn is cooking fish and everything because
she knows how to cook. She just doesn't eat it.
yeah, but it's yeah. She hasn't done it usually, so it's kind of weird.
She's
I've gotten above the moral aspect already. Already used to it.
She has to feed,
Maybe.
Yeah, like the griffin and Duran.
2 babies.
True.
Have to provide for 2 babies.
So,
Fade them around.
you guys make your way further away from the river and begin to head upriver as the old dwarf had instructed you, and you begin to make your way closer to the cavern, or closer to the sheer rock cliff that makes up one side of this large gorge, essentially, so that you could better see areas where there might be an entrance to a cave or lair of some sort. As you guys get perhaps, I'd say about 200 feet away, you can hear the air being cut through the flurry of feathers and squawks as the vultures have descended on your makeshift campsite and are kind of jostling for position over mostly the fleshy, still near whole dead fish that you had left, but to some eventually over the scraps and the bits of meat left on the bones. Eventually, there's like a cloud of dirt and dust that rises up and kind of obfuscates your vision of that area for a time. Looking around, there seems to be plenty of movement, though not all of it subtle. Not all of it right in your face. A lot of times, it's just as you approach something that some creature scurries into a burrow in the ground, some like lizard-like animal scurries across the wall up into the rocks. You can see that on this like near 90-degree sheer rock face that makes up the wall, part of the way up it, you start to hear the tumbling of small rocks that are dislodged and loose and fall and tumble near in front of you, and you can see a herd of decent-sized mountain goats that are making their way along this near 90-degree sheer cliff.
I mean, I guess that's a bit of surprising considering how deep we are.
Wasn't expecting there to be so many things down here, you know? Because when you look at it, it looks so tiny and far away from the bridge, but it's actually just, I mean, I guess it shouldn't be surprising, right?
I honestly don't know what to expect down here. I mean, we were deep underground when we were fighting that Conga snake thing, whatever it was, and found the ancient Duen ruins and everything. But I mean, we didn't see goats or anything like that.
Yeah, also wasn't like a mountainy range, but yeah, you're not wrong. And you also know that due to the alleged dangers of this area, there's a reason why people pay to cross the bridge instead of trying to trek through the Kragsaw, this canyon itself. It is, at least from what you've heard, from what the dwarf who sent you down here said, pretty dangerous area for the average traveler. Not only in how to navigate it, but perhaps the creatures that inhabit it. And as you guys are traveling, as you make your way a mile and a half further, scanning the walls, looking for any signs of an entrance and not seeing any that would be of a size of a dragon, let alone even an average sized creature. A lot of holes and hidey holes you see are small burrows for various mammalian and reptilian animals. You see stretching across the front of you, there is a group of creatures that are digging, scratching into the ground, seemingly hunting for creatures that make their homes under the earth and trying to unburrow them for a mid-afternoon meal. These creatures are strange. They're like a mix of a large wild turkey with bat wings and a lizard's tail. And they don't seem to have noticed you as of yet. There's a solid group of 20 to 30 of them. You can hear the squawks as, with beaks and talons, they dig into the earth and pull up lizard, small snake.
Holy crap! How big are they?
They're, like I said, they're like kind of a large wild turkey. They're not huge. They're actually
Okay.
not even like medium. They're maybe about 2 or 3 feet tall. So they're just like large wild turkey size, like not actually like a huge creature by any means.
Very weird. Weird.
They look
The weirdest.
like this.
Supremely weird. I
Devil
do not.
chocobos.
What do you say?
They do kind of look like double chocobos.
And like I said, you guys are maybe about 200 feet off. They are in the path that you would like to walk, but they are not aware of you at this very moment. At this time, your conjured animals would have been long gone out of them with the time it took you to cook and guys eating and resting and then traveling.
I don't know about you guys, but
Like I said, they're like 2 to 3 feet tall. They're not huge. They're definitely weird and
yeah, they look scary enough anyways, even though they're not big, maybe,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, even I can agree to that.
They're 2 to 3 feet tall, but they have 30 beaks.
I'm not sure how we can. I mean, possibly I definitely, and you, Elavorn, could avoid these, but I don't know about our big blue over here.
No faith.
Well, we could either fly over or we just try to sneak past.
What do you think, Trond?
Arguably, we don't even know if they're hostile.
Well, you wanna walk up to one and see how it
hey,
goes?
you guys dangerous.
No. Well, I don't want to find out
Double once for
firsthand.
yes, twice for no.
Well, you kinda sounded like you wanted to find out firsthand.
No, I'm just not. I think we're fine. Let's just pass.
Okay, pass without trace.
Pass without trace. Okay. So you guys are trying to stealth through?
Sneak, sneak.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's around 2 to 3 dozen of them. They're stretched over a decent amount of space. You can see as you get closer that if two of these creatures, like if one of these creatures kind of gets too close or encroaches on what another was like hunting territory is, there's some shrill gobbling shrieks at each other, even some scraps where they kind of flutter up into the air and lash out with their talons towards each other before, again, like facing each other, screeching and backing off, going each other's ways. So I'd like everyone to make a stealth check, please. Durand with disadvantage, as you know.
Does I get a disadvantage even though?
It just adds 10.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, never mind. See, this is what happens when we can't play this campaign for so long. It's like, how do you even roll?
How do you roll?
So that's 30 for me.
Okay.
42. I think
Yeah,
I
no
think
faith.
that's the highest.
25.
25?
For the 17 and a 15.
Nice. So you guys try to see the path to take. Make your way through what seems like the lightest area of these creatures, making use of large boulders, natural dips or elevations in the rock at the base of this canyon, timing your movements to be quick and succinct. You make your way through the flock of 2-foot tall turkey lizard birds, turkey bat birds, bat lizard bird turkeys, with no issues. A fortunately timed scuffle between another 2 or 3 of these creatures takes a lot of attention away as you can make the last little movement needed to get through to the other side and put enough distance between you and the cockatrices as necessary. That, go ahead and take a break.
Oh, break!
Encounter 1 avoided. Actually 2. Maybe 3.
What the heck was the first one?
The vultures.
Shut up.
What?
The vultures.
You gonna throw
The
vultures at
dragon
us?
has been stalking you guys this whole time.
Oh, that's the first encounter?
I mean, it's just vultures, to be honest, but...
There's no dragon. Dwarf's a crazy guy. Why would this be where you guys meet your first dragon? That's silly.
Zen's been plotting this ever since he heard me say that I could kill a dragon by myself.
Break screen. Also AFK.
Yes, sec. Relax, go on your breaks.
And welcome back. So, you guys have just made your way stealthily past the flock of cockatrice and are continuing upriver away from the bridge, further along this sheer mountainous rock wall. Continuously searching for some sort of entrance, maybe some sort of entrance to a lair, cave, scouring both the rock wall and the area that you're walking in the ground, maybe like a burrow or something that might lead somewhere else, keeping your senses alert for, as strange as it may feel to look for, and as unlikely as it is that you'll find in maybe some of your heads. But the longer you go around, the more that you see these strange creatures, the more kind of close encounters that you have with some sorts of danger. And the possibility of encountering a dragon here, while still a bit far-fetched. The longer you spend here, it's dawning on you that you just might. You're not sure how much of that is rational or how much is just paranoia with time, but I will need a perception check, please, from somebody.
Not me. I see nothing.
I will help.
Okay.
So it's up to Durand.
Please, you'll know there's ever seen a real dragon before. So he knows what he's looking for, right?
He's looking for an old guy.
Yeah. Are there any old men around here?
Yeah. Alright, let's see.
Go ahead and roll with advantage.
23.
Okay.
24.
In
24.
the distance. Okay, 24. So in the distance, Duran, maybe about 80 feet away, as you're looking a ways up along the rock wall, you can see what looks like this stream or trickle of water that's coming out somewhere partway up the cliff wall and making its way down to the base, where there's a bit of a sort of puddle, a large area of the otherwise dry, arid surface of the terrain that you're walking that is now damper or muddied. As you get closer, you notice a entrance to a cavern, large enough for you to fit into comfortably, with the water dripping on in front of and around the entrance. And as you all get closer, even Netadion and Elevorn notice the carcass of a mountain goat near the mouth of this cave's entrance.
Whatever's in there is hungry.
And it doesn't seem like the mountain goat was eaten. It's in the, at least not by a creature. It's interesting. It seems like it's been picked apart, perhaps by the vultures or creatures of the like, but in whatever flesh and fur remains, as well as to the bones that are exposed, you can see that parts of this animal seem to have been burned. Not in its entirety. It seems like maybe half of the creature, and then sporadically burned.
Well, I mean, we thought one dragon, well, I'm still not sure if we could call it a dragon, but I mean, it's half burned, and dragons do burn things, right?
Presumably.
The dragon that you guys encountered was the green dragonborn that got changed by the devil into a green dragon, and that one's breath
Yeah.
was more of a poison.
Oh, and still kind of, it's still kind of, acid still burns and stuff.
Yeah.
It makes a little bit of difference, and maybe how far are we from the goat thing? Because I'm not sure how distinguished I could be, like, between acid burns and fire burns.
You're not right up on it yet. When you notice it, as there's not much in the way that can block your view from it, but you do see it, like, you're about 25-30 feet away.
Yeah. So I'm not completely sure if it's acid burn or what burn. It's just burned.
What
I
were you
guess.
saying, Kadam?
Regardless of whatever burn it is, like, from our ancestry of dragons, know that dragonborns do have breath weapons, like mine, for example, so it's not far-fetched to believe that one could obviously breathe fire.
So you're saying it's a dragonborn who did this?
No. I'm saying our ancestry from dragons grants us the power to be able to use our breath weapon, but I'm not saying it was a dragonborn, although I guess that would be more realistic in this particular occasion than a dragon. Still a bit far-fetched, but could be either or.
Well, either it's a dragon or a dragonborn, but how are we going to approach this thing?
I mean, there was that one time, and I kind of burned them in the eye, I think.
Yeah.
We were running from the harpies.
True, it could just be magics.
And we know of the existence of Era. I mean, I'm not saying this was Era, but
That would be really strange if this would be Era.
well, no, I wasn't saying her specifically.
I know, but I'm just saying that it would be really strange. But I know that you didn't mean it, but
It'd probably be easier to determine more information if we got a closer look at it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just go look at it, yes. Okay.
are we absolutely sure it's safe?
Nope.
Well, I mean, it's why we're here.
Remember the gems, Neridion.
This has nothing. It's a dead goat.
It's
That's
it's a scene of a. You say dead goat, I say scene of a crime.
You're right, it is a crime. Let's investigate it.
Exactly.
You guys get closer.
They get close. Neridion is gonna stand back.
Is about 15 feet away from the mouth of this cavern, where there's the constant little trickle of water that kind of makes not like a sheet of water over the mouth entrance, but more like like hanging beads, but that kind of like spacing around it. So there's the sort of rhythmic sound of trickling water as Elahorn and Drand, you approach this mountain goat carcass.
Be like, what do you think? And put my hand on his shoulder and use guidance.
Yes, I see. Make a medicine check, Drand, with
What the
guidance.
hell
Duran
is
pulls
this?
out a hat and pipe that Sherlock
Yeah.
Holmes.
Elementary, my dear Elahorn, you see what happened here.
Oh my god, this roll is cursed. It's not bad, but it is was a 7 and a 13 for a magnificent total of 14.
14, okay. It's hard to tell exactly how long ago this thing was killed. If it was killed by something, as the scavengers of the area have picked it fairly clean. You can see that there is a good portion of the creature that had been burned. You can also see that there's a slight trail of grime and blood, even a little bit of fur tufts that seem to have been caught in the sort of stone wall, if you will, of this cavern, as if the body of the goat was like rubbed or dragged against it, like it was kind of like walking along the wall as it left the cave. It seems like it sustained these injuries somewhere further into the cave, but had made its way out here before dying.
Okay, so Elahorn is taking stuff out of her backpack.
Okay.
Like everything out of her backpack.
What are you taking out of your backpack?
Everything.
Okay.
I was hoping whatever burned it also probably left some traces. But in essence, was injured and then got here and then picked at by other things, probably. Hard to tell.
Yeah, doesn't look. I mean, looking at it closer isn't better. I mean, not that it's, I just mean, yeah, it's hard to tell. I can't really tell anything from it.
As Ella is emptying her backpack.
Yep. Well, I mean, do you think it was attacked here, or?
Well, there's a trail leading off, probably from where it came from. It was more than likely attacked over there and then ended up here. So, our best bet would be to follow the trail here. What was that?
You like kind of point into the mouth of the cavern that you're standing, that the goat's in front of, like pointing into the rock wall, into this cave.
So, I don't have a lot of stuff. It's some ball bearings, a little soap, and some harpy feathers and things. But could I put them in your bag of holding?
Yeah, sure. It could be.
I just thought the griffin could ride in my backpack.
Yes, of course. That's a good idea.
Because in front of me, it could get hit with something, but behind me, maybe it's more protected.
And you can see that after various levels of excitement, as well as eating as you place the griffin into your backpack, it is well into sleep at this point, as it has been for a while.
Thank you. I mean, for letting me put my random stuff in your bag. I mean, you always do, but, even more so now, because he's so cute.
Good that you're taking good care of it.
Still hanging back, Nedadion?
I
Yeah,
would call her over.
okay. At
It's
that, I
fine,
will
it's
go.
safe.
I'm
Duran calls you over. Nedadion walks over. Duran, do you kind of go through what your investigation has revealed again? And the three of you now stand staring into the open, cavernous entrance, maybe about 15-20 feet in front of you. The thin trickles of water pooling at the base of it, coming from some outlet far up in the craggy surface of this sheer cliff wall. You can see the 25, 30 feet in before it begins to curve. Looks natural, not made or carved out by anyone as far as you can see from outside here.
There's a thing I could do that I haven't done before. Because I haven't really been that weird dragon form thing I can do very often. But being all like with the fairy tricks. Anyway, I could be invisible for a while.
uh okay, but I mean, what would you do while you were invisible?
Well, I could go in and check it out while being invisible and then find out what's in there without it knowing that. Well, hopefully without it. I mean, there are things that can see invisible things, but I don't know if a dragon would be one of them, if it is a dragon in there. I mean, if we are fighting a dragon, it might be good to know that it's a dragon in there, right? Or, I mean, I don't know. I could go check it out, if you want.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know too much about dragons. I'm not fully sure, like you said, that if they are capable of seeing invisible things, but otherwise than that, I don't think it's too bad of an idea. But what do you think, Durand?
I can't guarantee either way, but it's not a bad idea, yeah. I have to agree.
Okay, because you were worried about it being safe, so one of you can take my backpack, and I'll be back in a few minutes, or however long it takes. Yeah, I'll be back. Maybe. I hope.
You better come back.
Okay, so we're splitting the party. Excellent.
Like always. Split the party.
So what are you doing, Elephorn?
So I'm offering the sleeping griffin cup to my friends in my backpack.
Yes. Duran took the backpack.
Okay.
What are you doing, Elephorn?
I'm going to wild shape into the fairy drake thing.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use my bonus action to turn invisible.
Alright. So doing so, you watch as Elephorn takes on the form of this multicolored, multi-scaled drake creature, and then as the light shimmers and bends around her, she disappears from sight. Though you can still hear and see the footfalls as she enters into the cave. You can see the trickles of water breaking around her invisible form, and then undisturbed going back to their perpendicular descent to the ground. When you enter into the cavern area, soon you're surrounded by the sound of echoing drips from the high walls of this cave. You make your way around the first bend as it opens up slightly, narrows again, and then eventually opens up into a larger cavernous area. You can see that there are... Actually, make a perception check. And does your Drake have dark vision?
I thought he let me go.
Of course it does. That was a natural 20.
Okay, does it have dark vision?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it says up to 60 feet.
Okay. As it is dark in here, you can see well up to 60 feet. You can hear things further than your vision allows. You can hear the flapping, the wing beats of what sounds like small, leathery wings in mass, especially as the echoing of this large cave kind of amplifies that sound as they flutter and begin to grow, like move in every direction, closer and further away from you. You can see with the 60-foot radius a few bats making their way through your peripherals back towards where you came. After a couple minutes after Elwyn had went in, Taran Neredian, you noticed a small grouping of about half a dozen bats fluttering and making their way out of the cavern as they scatter and disperse, seemingly finding small nooks or holes further up to re-enter the cavern further up the rock wall. With a 60-foot radius and no other light source here, you cautiously make your way forward. Said, was it a natural 20 or total?
Yeah, it was a natural 20.
Okay. So, as you make your way forward, you can see you come across a series of almost like a forest of stalagmites jutting from the base of the cavern here. And against one is a small skeleton, humanoid, clad in tattered leathers and with a scattering of small denomination coins around it. You can see the shredded purse that is currently partially submerged in a puddle of water around it. And along the stalagmite, you can see deep claw-like gouges into the rock. You continue.
A little further. I'm not like going as fast though, very, very cautious and slowly
Very
trying to
cautious,
see.
very slowly, trying to taper your footfalls. You see within your 60-foot radius some sort of smaller, medium-sized creature. It looks like a large lizard, like a bearded dragon of some sort. Tongue flicks out, the eyes look scanning a while before it scurries on its path. You approach what seems to be a drop-off even further down into the ground. Looking down with the extent of your vision, you can't see the bottom of it. Kind of clawing at, you dislodge a couple small pebbles that tic-tac their way down. You can't see the other side of this chasm, this small opening here. This opening in the ground here, but making your way along its edge cautiously, you eventually do find what seems to be a rocky pathway across, although the pathway in and of itself is only about 1.5 feet wide. And it is set, as you scout back and forth along it, close to halfway between the outer walls of this cavern.
Well, that's pretty strange.
You see that this thing goes down a fair bit, maybe about 30 to 40 feet, this section of the rock that hadn't collapsed fully yet, and it does kind of zig and zag as far as you can see. It's not a straight shot across.
Alright, I think right now I will probably head back out.
Okay. So, within the next few minutes, Dion patiently waiting, about 10 or 15 minutes after you had seen the bats come out, you again see the water break across a invisible creature and kind of take up a sort of flinch and take up like a defensive posture before recalling that it's probably up. Maybe.
Oh, I probably would have dropped invisibility before I came out.
When you came out? How like just before or
Just
deeper?
before.
Okay.
Is it Eleborn anyways? It could be a double.
Oh, doppelganger.
Oh.
A doppeldrake. Alright, so Elevorn comes back in her drake form.
Basically going to do it. Timmy is stuck in the well, but that's because I found, I think probably maybe the dwarf guy that the other dwarf lost. So maybe he has this stuff on him, but I wasn't gonna try to investigate the body as not a person. So it's like just like a head motion, like come with me. Let us away.
Shall we away?
Tron, you think she wants us to follow her? Or
More than
you're
likely.
not. Okay, I'll trust you. But if I die, I will haunt you.
This was all your idea to begin with. What are you talking about?
Ella Drake shakes her head.
And
She's
turns and heads back into the cavern.
Yeah,
So Elevorn turns and heads back in. The two of you follow. Shortly after rounding that first bend, you, with dark vision, are relying on your dark vision. There isn't much to see. Elevorn leads you to where the skeletal remains of the dwarf were, the stalagmite that it's rested against. You can see the same deep gouges. I guess, Dran, you're using the half mask, or you want more light than that?
The mask probably better.
Okay, so again, you, at this point, like with the 60-foot radius, you would not be able to see the upper bounds of the cavern that you're in, just so everyone is aware.
Can I climb up the wall?
You can. Do you have a climb speed?
Yes.
Okay. Where are you climbing up the wall?
Just next to us, I guess. If there's I don't know. I'm trying to is it an open cavern? It's kind of open, right?
It's fairly open.
Fucking hand away from
The limited mobility that you have is caused more by the closeness of these stalagmites. Again, it's sort of like a forest of various width and heighted stalagmites versus the openness of the cavern, which is fairly spacious.
Maybe climbing up isn't the best idea.
So you're all in the area around this dwarven skeleton. The sound of the dripping water echoing through the cavern, the sound of shuffling, scurrying small animals, the scratching of their claws as they move along the rocky base of this of the floor here. All of it in a moment is shrilly interrupted by the far off echoing sound of a bleating goat that seems to come from somewhere on the other side of the cavern and strangely above you. You don't hear anything but like the echo of the goat's bleat.
Well, that would be pretty shocking. I think I'd probably jump a little bit.
Yeah, I think that could be kind of creepy, definitely.
Especially echoing through the cave.
Yeah.
Well, that's our biggest lead. Best to follow it.
Absolutely sure.
I mean, you could check out the dwarf that's there, but we could...
Maybe this is it, and he's right here. And oh, James, goodbye.
Oh, well, true. Maybe there's gems right there. Go on, Neri, look for your gems.
Make an investigation check, Netadia. Upon a closer examination of this skeleton,
31.
31.
Yeah, because it's
Find the
not
gems. You
plenty.
find a few copper and silver pieces. It's wearing the tattered leather, but none of that is as interesting to you as what you do find. One of the legs of this dwarf, you can see, is missing the bones below the knee. Not only that, but the other leg, the bones there, and the two bones that would make up the arms that have since fallen to the side of this dwarf are all broken. See them snapped, beginning to sort of become buried by the cavern, or some of them, the smaller bones being drug away by maybe some creatures. But you can see that it seems like both legs, one of which below the knee, the bones are missing, and both arms have been broken, either prior to or after the death of this dwarf.
That is strange a bit, I guess. I guess I won't think about it too much because, if it is a dragon, I don't know, and there's vultures and all kinds of animals down here, so it could be just animals, yeah, so. If I don't find anything else on it, I guess I'll just move along.
Move along where?
I don't know wherever Elevorn leads us.
So you guys following the bleating of the goat, which it hasn't, you haven't heard it since that first initial shrill breaking of the otherwise sort of white noise that you have since come accustomed to in this cavern. It's a little bit difficult to pinpoint an exact location from where it came, but you know the general direction that it had come from. So you begin to head in that way, and that leads you to the area that you had come across earlier, Elevorn, where suddenly and quickly the cavern floor opens up. And with the dark vision only of each of you only reaching out to 60 feet, you're not able to see to the other side of this, but you do, as Elevorn sort of leads you in that direction, find that about 1.5 foot width area that leads across it. Or at least partway across it. You're not sure if it reaches the other side. Or if there is another side.
Well, but now should we?
So Elevorn, previously you had kind of scouted this area from the side of the cavern to the side of the cavern, and you're aware that it's about 80 feet across the cavern is at the point of where this drop off is, and so the drop off itself is about approximately halfway between it. Like I said, it's not exactly a straight shot, so it does meander closer to one side at parts, closer to the other side at other parts. It also does widen up at parts and even narrow down to even less than a foot as far out as you guys can see. You're not sure what beyond 60 feet it does, as darkness takes your entire vision beyond that.
Mildly settling.
I'm sorry, what?
Just said mildly unsettling.
I mean, I guess the whole place is kind of unsettling. I'm just hoping there won't be a Conga snake over here somewhere.
So, Eleanor is going to like motion with her head like across that way, or and wait a second, and then motion like upward, like which way should I go?
I'm probably wouldn't recommend. I think upward.
Word? Well,
I know it's not probably not the safest, but it's probably the most likely thing.
well, I'm not sure what is the safest at the moment.
Well, yeah,
guess-
nothing is safe.
True, nothing is really safe. But, yeah, I'll. Whatever. In this situation, I guess is the safest.
Okay, so up then.
Up.
Okay, so I will go to a wall and start at the nearest one. Navigate to the nearest wall and start to climb.
Okay, are you climbing straight up, or are you climbing out over the drop off?
Straight up first.
So climbing straight up with your climbing speed, you're able to dig the powerful claws that you have into the side of the wall, find the footholds with your hind legs, and keep yourself stable as you climb upwards in this drake form. Getting to a part where it begins to curve and meet the ceiling of this cavern, maybe about 100 to 120 feet up.
And I haven't noticed anything.
Along the section of the wall that you chose to climb, no. You can see as you get closer to the top the stalactites hanging from the top, many of them dripping with water that makes its way down through cracks in the rock from above, but no opening or anything like that you can see here or with your 60-foot dark vision range.
Okay, so if I travel towards the drop off, I guess from up here.
Okay, travel. So you're are you heading back down, or are you like heading across at this height?
Maybe down slightly, but basically.
Okay, so still making your way across the drop off, back down enough to the point where you can see it. So you're about like 60 feet or so above it. Not able to see far down into it just like before. But you managed to climb your way across the slightly slick rocks sideways, horizontally, until you make it to the other side. About 150 feet is the distance across this drop off. What are you doing?
I'm not sure. I don't know if the intention was to like kind of scout ahead over the drop off or, you know,
I don't know.
Okay, I guess I'll probably come back down then if I don't see anything at all.
Come back down?
Well, I mean, if there's nothing to see anywhere.
So right now you're on the other side.
Oh, I crossed the whole thing?
Yeah, like I said, it was about. You said you wanted to go down towards it and like move horizontally across the wall. So you made it across. It was about 150 feet across before you made it to the other side, and kind of heading back in the direction towards the center of it. You do see that section of the rock ledge, the small section. So it does seem to go all the way across, or at least there's a similar section on this side. Similarly to the other side, there are still the stalagmites that are jutting up on this side. However, you could see a good swath of them where the pointed bits are lying prone against, like around the stalagmites that seem to have been sheared off at some point, or like snapped, broken off. There's a solid dozen of them in an area that are just broken and rubble is strewn about.
Curious. Okay, yeah, so I will cross back and basically...
Along the wall.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so you do that. Again, it takes a while, 10, 15 minutes before Elevon is back amidst the two of you.
Then I guess try to use the path to do this.
Try to use the path.
I don't know, I think it might be too big, too awkward, like my...
I mean, you could also climb, so...
Yeah. So just...
You know, Elevon kind of partially on the path and partially along the side of it, as it is too narrow for her drake form to maintain, begins to climb across in front of you guys after trying to mime that this is a way across, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, there isn't really probably a clear way to, basically be like, it looks like it goes all the way across, you just have to be careful.
Naradian, Daran.
Is there anything we can... Because, I mean, I don't want to say we're just sitting here waiting for 2 minutes or something. We can't do anything down here. Is there any kind of investigating that we could do over here?
So wait, Ella, were you trying to get them to follow you across? Because so the sound of the bleating goat, the one that you guys like, we should follow it, is across this drop-off thing. The way across that Elevon found, it is now beginning to cross after motioning to you, is this thin rock walkway.
I suppose if she's like trying to motion us to follow, then at least Neredion will follow.
Okay. Slowly, carefully, Elevon makes her way across. Her claws digging into the rock, scraping, sending small bits of the rockway, which again, it's not like a thin bit. This rockway does go down maybe like 40, 50 feet, so it's sturdy, if not narrow. Naradian follows. Daland, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay. I need everybody to make a dexterity check. Actually, let's call it acrobatics. Walking a tight way.
$26.
Okay.
That's, a 9.
Daland.
that's not good. That's a 6.
Alright. Elevorn in front, Neredion in the middle, and Durand in the back. Neredion and Durand. You both watch as precariously moving about this ledge, the drake form of Elevorn loses its grip. A portion of the rock at the front kind of becomes loose as her claws dig into it, and she begins to not fall, but slide down before she eventually does catch herself with her climbing speed. But before that happens, Duran, the something about one balancing like this isn't your forte at all, but the shock and the sudden fear of watching Elevorn fall causes you to sort of half lunge toward her, but in doing so, lose your balance. Your foot slips off, and you begin to fall. Make a strength saving throw for me, please.
I mean, if Elevorn would be before Neridian, I guess Neridian would try to, help Elevorn.
You're gonna try to help a large fairy drake?
Yeah, because I mean, it's even though Neridian isn't gonna fall, or at least doesn't fall from the shock or anything, but it's large, but she's gonna try.
Okay. Duran. And Neredian, also strength check on your part, please.
— 19.
Duran, what's that saving throw?
18.
18. Alright. So, Elevorn, after you lose your balance, you begin to fall and slide and try to get a grip on to any sort of purchase. Currently, your tail up, head down, looking as far as you can see, at least, still 60 feet. You can't quite see the bottom of this pit into it, but you do manage to catch yourself with some assistance from Nerediana. She tightrope walks over to where you were and kind of quickly, not holds you up, but sort of takes one of your hind legs as you're falling and places it in a position where you could better catch yourself and slow your descent and get an actual grip on the rock wall, staring downward now. Neredian staring down at you, you're staring down into the pit. Duran, you fall, you trip, you manage to land hard on sort of your ribcage arm area as you catch the narrow walkway that you've been walking on. You do take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you do so. As you fall, you catch yourself, jostles free the backpack that Elevorn had you grab. You reach out and you grab it by the straps and the opening facing upwards towards you as the little griffin cub pokes his head out, looks up towards you, who's like, and as the griffin cub kind of stirs itself awake and idly chirps at you as you're hanging precariously. Neredian, Elevorn, Durand. Beyond the griffin cub, Durand, you can see eyes, a multitude of them, as climbing up the wall towards you, towards Neredian and Elevorn, and along the other side as well, are a large horde of giant scorpions. And that's where we'll pick up next week, or whenever we play next.
Giant scorpions. Oh dear lord.
Good night. I'll see Neri or I'll see Cele and Nemo tomorrow for exiles.
Yeah, I think I'm still good, yeah.
Alright, just let us know. Fun.
Fun. Giant scorpions. That's not fun.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.